All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been making a lot of moves in free agency. I think they've had a really great offseason thus far. And it's validated when you have people come out, really smart people over at PFF, who talk about teams who've gotten players that fit their scheme the best. And when we talk about a Matt Eberflus-led team, we talk about the defensive side of the ball. And we specifically are talking about the new pickup of safety Kevin Byard and how he fits this scheme. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, as I said, is from PFF. Every defensive play caller has a trademark scheme. Whether it be blitzes or stunts or disguises, there will be some schematic key that give them their identity. For Chicago head coach Matt Eberflus, that identity is safety rotation. During his 4 seasons in Indianapolis, Eberflus disguised his coverage as at the 8th highest rate in the NFL. While he has a reasonably similar percentage of these looks with the Bears, their ranking is lower due to the major uptick in disguises league-wide. They hope their answer during free agency period is Kevin Byard, who brings incredible durability, having played at least 1,000 snaps in 7 straight seasons. You could also call him a master of disguise, as he is elite in executing schemes with safety rotation, as shown here in the next part of the graphic below. Talking about safety grades for your defensive junkies with MOF change, that means middle of field change, since 2016 with a minimum of 600 snaps. 1, Jesse Bates, 91.3. 2 is Micah Hyde, 90.4. 3, Kevin Byard with a 90.3 grade. Then you have Justin Simmons and Rodney McLeod as well. I think this just shows this is a perfect scheme fit for Matt Eberflus's defense. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the pickup of Kevin Byard, Nick. But Bears fans, in the comment section below, what do you grade this offseason as a whole so far? Whether it's coaching changes, whether it's players that you picked up in free agency, whether it's players you let go in free agency, the culmination of all of those moves. Let us know how you grade this offseason so far in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest pickup by the Bears?
So I think there's obviously 2 big factors, right? Whenever you have an addition to your football team, one is obviously the dollars or the capital you give up if it was a trade, whether you gave up a player or a draft pick to acquire a player. And then, of course, there's the scheme fit, right? And I'll be 100% honest. 100% honest. I did not know Byard was this good in terms of rotating coverages and how well he graded out over the past 6 years or so. He's been absolutely phenomenal. That PFF grade of 90 plus, I mean, that is incredible. We talk about PFF, anything in the mid to high 70s is considered good. 80s is considered Pro Bowler. 90 plus grade, that's absolutely outstanding. And considering that's what Eberflus loves to do, he did it a lot in Indy. He's tried to do it in Chicago. I think injuries and some issues, I'll call it poor play at times at the safety position, has limited that during his time in Chicago. I think Byard will come in and allow him to be much more flexible in that, which would help out the entire defense as a whole, doing what Eberflus does best. So the scheme fits outstanding, but let's focus at the value perspective here for a second. And I love using overthecap.com's metric for evaluating a player. So basically what Overthecap does is they look at a player's position, productivity, age, past performance, all those things like that. And they come up with a number and say, okay, how much should this player cost against the team salary cap, considering all of those factors? Well, according to overthecap.com, in 2023, using 2023 numbers, Kevin Byard's valuation was $6.5 million. Right now, his 2024 cap hit is going to be $6.5 million, just a smidge less. So there you go. The Bears are getting a player who is a perfect scheme fit at a fair price, right on the money. And actually, it's actually a little bit of a discount considering how much the salary cap jumped up from 2023 to 2024 and will likely continue to jump up into the future. So even Byard's cap hit in 2025 of 8.5 million, I think that'll actually be a fair price once we factor in the cap inflation aspect. So no matter how you look at it in terms of scheme fit, in terms of value, this was one heck of a move. It's kind of an underrated move from the Bears, but I think this will pay big dividends for them come regular season time.
Yeah, Nick. And when you look at the Bears roster as well, I think bringing in a true veteran like a guy like Byard is going to be great as well. You got young Jaquan Brisker, who's been playing good in his own right, but to be able to learn from a guy like Kevin Byard, we always like when a savvy veteran comes in, who especially a guy that's good at the scheme that Jaquan Brisker plays in. You bring in the best guy for that scheme, he gets to learn from him. They play a little bit different positionally, but I think just knowing the overall knowledge of a guy like Kevin Byard is going to be great for Jaquan Brisker in his development for this Bears team. So I think there's a few different ways you could look at this. Obviously, Kevin Byard fits the scheme. He'll be a great leader in that defensive locker room. And also, we just see that Matt Eberflus, he really is trying to get his motion safety grade up there a little bit, just because the league kind of caught on there. Everybody sees what he's doing is really good. So he's got to get some better players. We know he executes the scheme very well. He's just got to get the guys to fit his scheme. And I think with the addition of a guy like Kevin Byard, we're seeing that he got exactly who he wanted.
And let's talk for a second here why it matters having coverages that can rotate safeties, specifically in the NFC North, because you're going up against Jordan Love and, more importantly, Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, and then Jared Goff and offensive coordinator Ben Johnson in Detroit. Those two quarterbacks are very good quarterbacks, but those two offensive coordinators are really good play designers. There's the same level or very, very close as Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. And those kind of in the weeds offensive play callers, schemers, designers, if you can confuse the picture for the quarterback after the play's been called, you can create all kinds of nightmares. Jared Goff famously had a million problems with the Patriots defense in the Super Bowl when Goff was playing for the Rams so many years ago for that exact reasons. The Patriots did a lot of rotations. Jared Goff was relying on his play caller, Sean McVay, to help him execute the offense. Obviously, the rotations happened before the snap. Jared Goff couldn't handle it. I think that's exactly what the Bears want to do to the Packers. That's what they want to do to the Lions. They couldn't do it because they had issues at safety, namely Eddie Jackson's performance had dipped. I think Byard will come in and allow him, by him I mean Eberflus, to do the exact defensive strategies he's been wanting to do, and we should see a big boost on the Bears defense because of it.